Hi there guys, how to cook crayfish one-on-one. Number one, light your fire. Good enough. Number two, get your big pan of water, making sure it's big enough to cover the crayfish. This came out of the hot tap so it speeds things up. Lid on, bring the water to the boil. Make sure the water's boiling before you put the cray in. And here we have what will be lunch very soon. Already dead. And a little tip I was given, which I'm going to do now, by a very nice Maori cook, was always pick the small ones, but if you haven't got a small one, which we haven't, put some sugar in. It makes the meat sweeter. So that should dissolve in there while it's heating up. And then that will go in. As soon as that comes to the boil, I'll drop that in there, and that will have 9 minutes for the first kilo. That's 2.5 kilos, so it'll have about 3 minutes after that. So 14 or 15 minutes, we'll see that well cooked. And I'll bring you back then. Right guys, here we are, hopefully the allotted time. When you look at the cooking time for crays, one thing you'll find is that it's normally a bit shorter than ice. I mean, normally you're looking at somewhere between 9 minutes for the smallest, and then up to about even just 12, 14 minutes or something. One of the things they do say you've got to be careful is not overcooking them, because if you overcook them, they go a bit tough. But the other side of that is, because I've kept mine have been frozen, I got a few on a trip down South Island a while ago, so the only way to keep them without them ruining was to freeze them. That tends to make the flesh a bit soft and a bit squidgy even in the tail, so I tend to give them, you know, it's my sort of like cunning plan is to give them a little bit of extra when I boil them, and then they come out and they're, you know, quite good. But I'll show you also how or what I do with them, you know, prior to eating. I don't just take them out as they are. I've got my own little way I deal with them. Gratefully taught to me by Rob. Thanks Rob. And right, I'm going to get them out. Got tongs ready, and the other thing I've actually got ready, you'll see in a second, is a bowl of cold water. So I'm just going to bob you around here and see if I can see what we're doing. Clyde, get off. Oh, the dog here taking a large amount of interest in anything. Then again, anything food he does. So here we are. Some tongs ready. Give it to the biggie. Okie dokie. Dampen the fire down. There we go. There she comes. And a lovely bright shiny pink. But what I've got here, I can pick him up. There we go. Let it drain a bit, and then it's straight into a big tub of cold water. And that's to stop the cooking process. If you don't do that, they'll keep on cooking. The shell keeps the heat in for quite a long time. So I'll bob this straight into a bowl of cold water, ready to take into the house. I'll leave the top and get the pan clean straight away, or it tends to smell a bit. And I'm going to take this into the kitchen and get it running under cold water to get it cooled down and chilled off pretty quick. And then I'll bring you back for the next step. Right, so here we are with our cray, all cooked and well cooled. And slightly different processes depending on the different size. Sometimes it's worth doing some things, it's not. But basically from here, we get hold of the tail end here and just pull, and out she comes. Try not to end up with it spraying everywhere. And we've got the meat here as well. So what you can do is just pull this meat out from here. Right here. Once you start getting onto the inside, you can see there's a bit more gooey stuff. Now, some people do like that. I think it's a bit of an acquired taste. But some are quite happily, they've actually chopped the thing in half, and they get even all the like the milt from the inside, I believe they call it. Like quite a lot of goo, which is why I've got the newspaper here. But basically, there we have a big lump of meat. Dish hand it, in the meat goes. Now I'm not intending cooking this straight away, which is why another reason I've let it cool down fully. And here we go. Oops, get some of this. So there's the. I'll show you that how to get rid of that shortly, but leave that out to the side. Again, get the meat. Now, basically, what we do is we open the tail up, get rid of that. Making a knife which is big enough to do the job. Another hint: a bushcrafter doesn't always work. And down the centre, I'm going to cut this right down the centre. Just put in. Nice sharp knife does the job really, really easily. And then from here, you can open her up. Nice and steady. There we are. Because what I'm looking to do from here is to find, there we are, that intestine there, and it'll just pull up. Oops, I'm trying not to pull it too hard. Keeping it open. There we go, I get that right down to the bottom there, and that's basically all the gut and everything, right to the bottom and out. I tend to do that before I cut through the shell on this side. That way I know I'm not cutting that. That runs right next to that backbone, so here we go again. A bit more pressure this time. Again, you can't beat a good sharp knife. And there she is. Now, depending on what you want to do with your crayfish, you can pretty much, if you wish, take this and a bit of extra meat, and if you're ready, if you've cooked this out in the morning for argument's sake, you can take this out to your barbecue, and the idea is just let it sit on your barbecue on the shelves. Wait till you see it all bubbling, it's obviously got nice and heated through. Flip it over and it'll give you a nice grilling on the other side. But what I want to do with this is, and something you can do because it's bloody expensive if you don't get it cheap, if you don't get it off, if you don't have somebody you know, it's bloody expensive, is I take all the meat out of the shell. Really easy, as long as if it's been cooked right, it's an indication it's cooked well. It's the fact that it all comes out really nicely. There we go. Put that all in a dish. There we go. Now you can keep these halves of the shell because that's part of it. So I'll put them to one side. Now the other thing, if you've got one which is an animal which is bigger like this, there's quite a bit of meat in some of these claws. The legs can be a bit of a pain, but the big claws come off really easy. And the idea is just snap them. Just carefully pull out. And you see, this is like it's like a tendon or a ligament on a on an animal. Take your knife, the flat of your knife. Just give it a push. Hopefully, there she goes. There we are. You can pull that out. And there's quite a bit of meat inside those claws. All really white meats. Basically, just go for all the really white meat. That looks like meat. There we go. I'll knock off for the minute here. I'll finish doing these other claws and stuff. It's exactly the same process with the rest of the claws. A little tip we can do with the legs, I'll show you a little tip with the legs if you've got them big enough to be really useful, is when you break them, do it carefully. Don't be too aggressive, and just nice and steady. And then when you pull out, oh, that's not worked. Turn the other side. No, that hasn't worked either. Must be a little bit. Maybe the legs are a little bit overcooked with it being a big animal. But normally, if you do that quite carefully, oh, you can see. Yeah, you can see the meat in there. Sometimes what will happen is as you draw the leg away, the meat will stick to the tendon, and it's easy. You don't have to break the leg up, and it will just come out. So it's worth a try if you can do that. If not, then you're back to breaking them. So I'll do this and then bring you back to the next part. Right. So next thing we do is we take the crayfish that I'd cleaned up yesterday. Break it off a little bit to nice chunky bits. It's quite firm actually. It's a little bit not the best in the world after it's been frozen, but it's quite nice meat in there. Just breaking it down a little bit. Up a bit, some of the slightly softer bits with the firmer meaty bits. It's all shredded down, some nice bite-sized bits. Now, what I've got here is I'm going to use approximately the same amount of mashed potato. There's the mash. And then in there we've also got a bit of veggie. Broccoli, cauliflower. Cooked to perfection by she who must be obeyed, the most beloved. Or it would be if I didn't have any teeth. But perfect for this job. Give it a good mix in. Get it all mixed up. Get that mash mixed through it. Serves a couple of purposes. One, it just means that basically you've almost got a meal in a pan, and it also makes it go an awful lot further. So, handy for a little party if you want to go to small crayfish. But I think we've got probably a good bit more than we're likely to use here. The boys might be having a nice tea. There we go. All that mixed in there. Right. That's it. so break the big bits up. Yeah. Spread it around a bit. Alright, now into a pan. Here we go, all mixed up. In she goes. Get a bit of everything everywhere. Switched it in. As you can see, nice and flat. Now I'm going to bob this in an oven, probably for about, because it only has to warm through, everything's cooked so just warm through, so I've got the other one on 150, doesn't need to be really high, but oven on 150 for probably, just going to go do a quick job, walk the dog, so it'll be about half an hour, but probably 5 or 10, well 10 minutes before we're going to bring it out, I'm going to get some cheese, sprinkle some grated cheese over the top, give it a nice, nice cheesy crust, and then that'll be ready for tea. So here we go, and where's he go? There we go. Oh, got Clyde there watching us. Into the oven. Oh, nearly forgot. Bit of oil on the top, just to stop it drying out. There we go. Bring it back in a bit. Now one thing you could do, although mine's gone in a pot because there's quite a lot of it, one thing you can do if you keep the shells like I've done here, get these to show you, and you've got the tails, what you can do is you can pack those in with the potato and the crayfish and everything, bit of cheese on the top, and either bob them in the oven just the same, or put them on the grill, or on the barbie, until they're nice and warm, and get cheese on the top again, and then it's a bit difficult to crunch them up on the barbie, but once you basically just get them on there, put the cheese on 5 or 10 minutes before the end, let it all melt and soak in. You're not going to get the crunchy effect, but it does the job. But that's another one if you want to be a little bit more, a little bit fancier. But I've ended up with quite a lot in there, so I'd need to be with both the tails and then probably something else. But that's for the next time. There we go, nearly ready. Last step. Get the cheese. Oh, Clyde's heard somebody on the side. They are allowed to be there. And the kids next door. A bit skimpy on the cheesy. Oh, there we go. Right. Keep an eye on that, 5 or 10 minutes. So, if that. Oh, back in she goes. Oops! Oh, I'm going to get into trouble, just flip cheese off the top. Shh, don't tell. Well guys, really sorry about this, but for some reason I've just lost the final clip from this little film, where basically I lost a bit where I got it out of the oven and tried a little bit and gloated because it was awesome. However, last little bit I did manage to get back in, and as soon as I realised, and I've actually got a picture of the garlic bread on the side and the half-eaten dish of cray a la Rob, and I can assure you it was rather wonderful. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe, like if you like, and thanks for your time, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next one. Speak to you soon.